On the tinsel front is a dramatized reading of letters written by an American soldier, Corporal Oliver Whelan, to his sister Elizabeth during World War II. These letters were discovered 4 decades after the war in the attic of a London home. This is Season 1, Episode 3, Housemates.
February 8th, 1943. Dear Bet, I was finally able to actually meet my 2 housemates. It was Sunday and I had to work, but Bellows thankfully wasn't there. As lunch was light and cleanup went fast, I was able to get home on the early side. Lois was on a ladder in front of the house, fixing something on the roof. Problems?
Don't ask.
I went inside where there was a wonderful smell. Something good was in the oven. There was music coming from the backyard. I peeked out a window to see Elle and Shelly in the garden reading magazines and listening to the phonograph. The idea made me nervous, but I decided to go out and say hello. Hello. Sorry to interrupt, but I thought I should introduce myself.
Well, look who's here, Shelly Ann. Our very own soldier.
You must be Ollie. I'm Shelly, and this is Elle.
Welcome to Snow White's house. Are you our prince?
Oh, no.
Sorry about waking you up the other night.
What happened the other night?
You were dancing with the toilet, Dumbo, don't you remember?
No, but I do have a vague memory of a certain young man peering at me from his open door.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to...
Don't be. She loves the attention.
They wanted to know why, if I was a soldier, I was living at Lois's. I told them I was with the 1st Motion Picture Unit.
Do you believe that, Shelly? Ollie's in the movies!
Oh, well, I wouldn't say that. Actually, I got assigned there by mistake. I'm waiting on a transfer to a combat unit. And I'm just working in the mess hall.
That doesn't matter. You work there. Have you seen any movie stars?
Well, Ronald Reagan is sort of my boss.
You're kidding.
Calm down, Elle.
And I served William Holden some corned beef hash the other day.
Well, you must have me over for a visit, Private.
I don't know if I can do that.
Oh, yes, you can. You just have to figure out how.
Elle thinks she's going to be a movie star.
I don't think, Shelly. I know.
I hope you don't have dinner plans, Ollie, because I cooked and there's plenty.
Oh, that would be great. Are you sure?
Of course. Hey, Mom!
Don't call me that.
She hates when we call her that. So of course we do.
Dinner in 10. Are you going to be done with whatever you're doing up there?
If you stop asking.
Thanks, Mom.
Shelly went off to the kitchen, leaving me and Elle alone. I was so nervous. God, she was beautiful and so out of my league. You know what's amazing? When I arrived in Los Angeles, I saw you at Union Station. You were at the USO booth.
Now that's a coincidence. Did we talk?
No, you were with some other guys.
Shame it wasn't you. All those soldiers and sailors. So dear. They want to tell me their life story and hear mine in the few minutes I'm with them.
I get that. If you're going off to fight and maybe die, you want to connect with as many people as you can. I wanted to add, especially with a girl as pretty as you. But I didn't have the guts.
I think you're onto something there, Private.
Apologies for being like all those guys, but I wouldn't mind hearing your story.
Would you now?
Yes. I'm from Connecticut. Where are you from?
Seattle, Washington.
Oh, I hear that's beautiful.
It is. Our house is up on a hill and has a view of Elliott Bay with Bainbridge Island in the distance.
I'd like to see that. Family?
Mother and 2 brothers.
How'd you end up here?
Well, I confess I've always wanted to be a movie star. Always dreamed of Hollywood. I was the lead in all my high school drama productions. Juliet was my favorite. My only love sprung from my only hate, too early seen unknown, and known too late.
Nice.
When I graduated, I got a job as a waitress to save up money to come here. I would have made the trip a year ago, but my father got sick. The cancer, you know. I loved my dad. He was a biology teacher. Such a good man and a good father. He meant so much to me. He told me to go and pursue my dream, but I couldn't bear to leave him.
When did he pass?
Early last year.
I'm sorry.
Thanks. When he did, I was finally free to go. But I felt bad leaving my mother and my brothers. But she knew how much Hollywood meant to me. She downright insisted I go. So I got on a train. The whole family saw me off. There you go, Ollie. When I'm a star and you read it in a magazine, you can say that I told you that story in person.
I'll do that.
Dinner's on.
We joined Lois and Shelly at the dining table.
I think Lois should lead us in the grace, don't you, Shelly?
You two are asking to be murdered in your beds. Don't get any ideas, Ollie.
Apologies, Lois. We'll be better, but do say the grace.
Okay. Dear Lord, or whoever is up there, we give thanks as we sit down to partake of Shelly's delicious meal. Keep everyone in this house safe, and keep an eye on those boys who've gone overseas to fight. Amen.
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 Over dinner, I got to know Shelly. She was from a family of Pennsylvania steel workers and the only girl of 7 children. When 3 of her brothers enlisted after Pearl, she wasn't about to stay home. Learning that there were good-paying jobs to be had building planes in Los Angeles, she announced she was heading west. Her parents balked until she told them how much money she'd be sending home. Shelly was smart, clever, and very funny. When I asked her how she and Elle came to live at Lois's, she entertained us with the tale of her previous residence.
I rented a room from this Swedish widow, Mrs. Svenbergen, who had this big Victorian south of downtown Los Angeles she had turned into a boarding house for women. She had a thick Swedish accent and this way of snorting when she disapproved of something. It was like a pig with a cold. And she disapproved of everything about me. Like my coming home at 1 a.m. after my shift. That's no time for a young woman to be out. You tell them to let you off earlier. I can't do that. That's the job. And the way I dressed? You should buy clothes that are more womanly. I'm sorry, I work in a factory. High heels are not appropriate. Not a day went by. After I saw Lois's advertisement go up on the plant bulletin board, I ripped it off.
What?
Sorry, Lois, never told you about that. So no one else would see it. I knew Elle was in a Fleabag hotel in Hollywood and was unhappy as me. I asked her if she'd be my roommate.
And now here we are. With you, Ollie.
Yes, with me. At that moment, I felt so lucky. After dinner, Elle announced she was going out. She didn't say where, but Shelly didn't seem to approve. As Elle got ready in their bedroom, Shelly joined her and closed the door. I couldn't hear what was being said.
What, you're going out again?
Yes, I'm going out.
You haven't been home one night this week.
Oh, are you keeping track of my schedule?
But it sounded like an argument.
Anyway, I don't...
There was a honk from a car outside. The door to the bedroom opened, and Elle, dressed to kill, marched out, heading to the front door. I looked out the window to see Elle climbing into a Ford coupe. I couldn't see who was driving as it took off down the street. I wondered who she was going off with. Felt a little bit jealous. Shelly joined me at the window.
Elle's a great girl, but she doesn't have a whole lot of sense.
Where's she going?
I don't know. Off somewhere with one of her many beaux. The other night, her spewing after a bender. That happens far more often than it should. One day she might do something she regrets. I know she's beautiful, Ollie, but don't let yourself get bewitched.
Dear Bet, it's been a tumultuous 2 days. Things have changed. Having Elle as a housemate put me on cloud 9, making the drudgery at Fort Roach, even Bellows' abuse, tolerable. Then I got another summons to Reagan's office. As it came right as we were beginning to serve lunch, Bellows was furious, but had no choice but to let me go. Thinking that perhaps my transfer had come in, I bolted out of the mess and headed to the office so fast I forgot to take off my apron. When I got there, Miller avoided eye contact. I had a bad feeling.
Ah, Whelan. There you are. Have a seat.
Now I knew it wasn't good. Reagan had never asked me to sit down.
I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but your transfer request was denied.
This was like a punch in the stomach.
I confess to being a bit baffled. It's usually the requests to get out of combat that get turned down, not the ones asking to get into it. As you know, when we submitted your request, we attached a letter saying that your posting here appeared to be a mistake. A note came back with a transfer denial.
He handed me the note. It read, Private Whelan's assignment to the FMPU was not a mistake. Use him in any capacity deemed appropriate.
That certainly adds to the mystery, doesn't it?
Some suspicions I once had but dismissed suddenly came rushing back.
So tell me, Whelan, do you have any idea what's going on here? Because I sure don't.
No, sir. Which was a lie, because I could see Father's handwriting all over this.
You sure?
Yes, sir. And thank you, sir. I'll head back to the mess now, sir.
Okay, then. You're dismissed. We'll get you out of there as soon as we can. Now that you've been around and see what goes on here, you might want to think about what area you'd like to work in. And we'll try our best to get you into it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Somehow I was able to control the anger welling up inside me. Miller gave me a sympathetic look as I left, but I ignored it. As I headed back to the mess, I realized that my washing out of flight school had given Father an opportunity. I was too naive to see that then, but it was clear now. I was getting so angry, not just at him, but with myself, I could barely see. When I got back to the mess, Bellows was itching to give me a hard time.
Oh, look, everybody, the big shot is back. So, what was that summons about, Whelan? You get a promotion or something?
I ignored him, went straight to my serving station, taking the spoon from the cook who had filled in for me. Only Bellows didn't like my refusal to acknowledge him.
I asked you a question, Whelan. You work for me. If you keep getting pulled away by Reagan or anyone else, I have a right to know why.
In hindsight, I never should have said what I did. And I can't even begin to tell you why I said it. The only thing I can figure is that I was seized by a sudden urgent need to have some control over my life. Bellows, why don't you just shut up?
What?
We all know you hate your miserable little life, and you'd rather be any place but here, and you take it out on us because you can't take it out on the Army. And for a few minutes, that makes you feel a little bit better because you're making us feel worse than you. But it's not getting you out of here, is it? So maybe, instead of wasting all this energy crapping on us, why don't you ask for a transfer or do something to get the job you want and get the hell out of here? Stunned that I had barked back at him, Bellows was speechless and just looked at me with wide eyes. The mess, meanwhile, had gone dead silent. In that moment, I realized I had just done something incredibly stupid.
Well, Whelan, it's good to know you have some balls. Now get out of my sight and enjoy your last moments of freedom while I report you for insubordination and disrespect of an NCO.
Sarge,
Don't say another word, Whelan. Just get the hell out.
And so I took off my apron and headed out the door. Outside, I didn't know what to do. As I stumbled around the lot, it fully dawned on me that I could be in real trouble. I figured the smart thing to do was to go tell Reagan what happened and take responsibility. When I got to the office, Reagan wasn't there, but Miller was, looking stressed. When he saw me, he jumped up, grabbed me by the arm, dragged me down the hall to a file room, pulled me in, and closed the door.
Oh, my God, Whelan. What were you thinking?
So you heard?
How could I not? News that Germany and Japan had surrendered couldn't move through this lot any faster.
Has Bellows reported me?
Yes. He's demanding you be thrown in the stockade. Only, we don't have a stockade. It's a movie studio, for God's sake, not a fort. I know you're upset about the transfer being denied, but why vent on Bellows?
I don't know. I just lost it. I was really angry.
Why?
I don't know.
I think you do. When you told Reagan you had no idea why your transfer was denied, it was obvious you were lying. So what's going on?
I'd rather not say.
Jesus, Whelan, do you realize the mess you're in?
Yeah?
So cough it up.
It's my father, okay? I'm convinced he's pulling strings to keep me out of combat.
What? Who's your father? FDR?
No. He's Patrick Whelan, owner and president of Whelan Metallurgy, the company that makes half the bullets we're shooting at the Krauts and the Japs.
So you're a rich kid.
Let's just say my father has a certain influence in the War Department.
So he squelched your transfer?
Why else would it be denied? And I suspect he got me transferred here in the first place. He never wanted me to become a pilot, but he couldn't do anything to stop me. Once I washed out, it would be easy for him to make sure I didn't go anywhere I'd get shot at.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
How come you didn't tell Reagan?
What would be the point? He can't do anything. And I don't want people treating me with kid gloves because of my father. I just want to do my part like anyone else.
Yeah, though there's a positive to being special.
Well, what's that?
It could keep you from being court-martialed.
As crazy as this might sound, I'd almost prefer that.
Be careful what you wish for. That's probably Reagan. He had a meeting over at MGM. When I heard, I called over there. Stay here, while we try to figure out this mess.
Since there was no jail to put me in, it was decided that, as long as I swore to stay there, I could go home. I was to report to Reagan the first thing in the morning, when my fate would be decided. When I got home, Lois was headed out the door.
Ollie, what are you doing here? Are you sick or something? You don't look well.
I messed up. But it's nothing, really. You're off somewhere. You go. I'm fine.
You don't sound so fine. What do you mean you messed up?
You said you didn't want me coming to you with my problems.
Oh, for gosh sakes. Not if it's something serious. And this sounds serious. Is it?
Yeah.
So, spit it out.
So I told her. Her response wasn't exactly encouraging.
Sounds pretty bad. I've had bosses like this, Sergeant. They won't rest until you're strung up and twisting in the wind. But hey, don't mind me. Anything can happen. All you can do is wait and see.
That was easier said than done. Afraid of what would happen the next day, I couldn't sleep that night. I heard Elle and Shelly come home, but didn't get up to say hello. I couldn't bear the idea of explaining to them what had gone down. When I thought they had gone to bed, I got up and went to the kitchen to get some warm milk. To my surprise, Elle was at the kitchen table having a cup of tea. Elle!
Hey, Ollie.
You're still up? I thought you had gone to bed.
No, Shelly did. I wasn't ready.
How was the day at the plant?
Like any other. How was yours?
Oh, fine. As I warmed my milk, I looked at Elle. Staring into space, she was somewhere else, but still beautiful. I felt an ache in my heart and realized that I had nothing to lose anymore. Hey, Elle?
Yes?
Would you like to go out sometime? You know, like to the movies or something? She looked at me as if she was seeing me for the first time, or that my question triggered something that required processing.
Oh, Ollie, you're a nice boy. You don't want anything to do with a bad girl like me.
Don't say that. Just a movie, maybe dinner.
Sure. If you want to.
You will?
Why not?
Great. They could court-martial me tomorrow, but I didn't care. The most beautiful girl just agreed to go out with me. When I reported the next morning, Miller told me to go to that file room and wait. When Reagan came in and passed by, he saw me, but just glared. I sat in that damn room for 3 hours until I was finally told to come talk to Reagan. Sitting behind his desk, he clearly wasn't happy. Miller stood nearby, looking grim. Ready to fall on my sword, I had prepared a speech. Sir, I just wanted to say that I know what I did was wrong, and I take...
Just shut up, Whelan.
Yes, sir.
I need to ask you something. Something important.
Yes, sir.
Can you sing?
What?
Can you sing? It's a simple question, damn it. Just answer it.
I think so.
So let's see. Sing me a song.
Sir?
You heard what I said. Sing me a song. You know, God Bless America?
Yes, I think so.
So sing it.
Sir, I don't...
Just sing it, goddammit.
Okay. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the
mountains to the prairies.
To the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
What do you think, Miller? No Sinatra, but not bad.
A fair assessment, sir. Truth be told, sir, they need bodies more than voices. So, you should be fine.
Okay, then. Private Whelan, your behavior with Sergeant Bellows yesterday was disrespectful, insubordinate, and inexcusable.
No argument from me, sir.
Will you please keep quiet?
Yes, sir.
Punishment could be, and probably should be, severe. But while the incident will be noted on your record, Sergeant Bellows has graciously decided not to press the matter, on the condition he never see your mug again. You are thus being temporarily attached to the company performing the Irving Berlin musical review, This Is the Army. Its cross-country tour over, the company is in town for the production of the film version over at Warner Brothers, to which you will report immediately. Do you understand?
I'm not sure I do. Yep, yes, sir.
You're dismissed. Miller here has arranged a ride for you to Burbank. Right, Miller?
Yes, sir. The truck leaves within the hour.
You heard him, Whelan. So get home, pack your kit, and get back here pronto.
Yes, sir. I saluted and stumbled out of the office, but was thoroughly confused. Music? Irving Berlin? What was going on?
On the Tinsel Front is written, produced, and directed by Christopher Bomba. The role of Oliver Whelan is voiced by Brian Stanton. Joining him in this episode is Robbie Trombetta as Lois, Samara Frame as Elle, Katherine James as Shelly, Gabriel Oliva as Ronald Reagan, Alan Blumenfeld as Bellows, and James Coyle as Miller. I'm Mary Bomba. While On the Tinsel Front purports to tell a true story, all the characters are fictional, except for the real-life personalities, some more recognizable than others, who actually served in the wartime positions they do here. For more information about these people, Hollywood during World War II, and the actors, visit the podcast website at onthetinselfront.com.